Okay, hi. Welcome back. Um, what I'm doing here is talking about the FRQ, and what I'm going to do is just break it down a little bit. I'm not going to run through it in too much detail, but I'm going to talk about the various aspects and how to approach this kind of problem. FRQs tend to be the trickier ones, but they don't have to be. There are lots of points there which you can go and get. And really what it's mainly about is to read it and understand what it's asking you. That's the main issue. So, here we have a class, member info. Okay, and what this question is saying is we've got a club with members, and we have two different classes. Member info, which contains the information about a member, and it has certain things like name, graduation year, and standing. Standing, I guess, is to do with your grades. But basically, it's a Boolean, if you have standing. So, what we need to really know about here is the member info constructor. How do you make one? Okay, and that's what we'll need for the first part. The other two, the methods, get, grad, year, and in good standing, they're the helper methods which we'll use later in part B. So that's the one, the constructor there, the methods. We also have another class called club members. Now this is the meta class, or the one that uses the members info. And this one will basically keep a list of members here called member list. The type is member info here. Now we have two methods which we have to write, which is add members, which will add members to the array, and remove members. Okay, two seemingly simple things to write. All right, so let's start with add members. Add members, we need to take. The input is a string of names. Okay, we have a bunch of different names, and we have a grad year. What we have to do is take those names, build a member out of it, and then throw it into the members list. Okay, so all those parts are important. So let's say with part A, here's the text, the real text. Okay, now the important point to notice is that the names can be added in any order, so don't worry about the order of the names. All members are initially in good standing and share the same graduation year, grad year. Okay, so they're the conditions. All right, so we're only given the names and the grad year. We're not given the good standing, but it's telling us here that we can assume that that's going to be true to start with when we make a new member. So what this is asking you to do is to go ahead and take each name, make a member out of it. Okay, so we're given an array of strings with the names. We need to go through this names array and make a new member. Okay, so let's do the first part. Let's go through this names array. Take each name, make a member out of the name. We'll need a for loop. We can use probably enhanced loop or regular one. And we're going to use true as in good standing. So in good standing or true, and grad year we've been given. Let's use the constructor. Let's make sure that we get the constructor correct. So there's a constructor for you. Okay, so use the name, then the grad year, then good standing. All right, so let's do that. Then once we've made the member, we can add that member to the main list of members. So here's our first thing. Okay, so we need to traverse the names array. Okay, we're going to traverse the array, and to do that, we are basically looking for a for loop. So let's use a for loop to run through the names array. I'm going to use an enhanced for loop here. Okay, the enhanced for loop is just going to go through each name. Now, we're going to use the constructor here to make a new member. Okay, so I make the member. I'm just going to call it new member. I use the new keyword and then the constructor with the correct inputs. The correct input being the name, the grad year, and we're just setting the true to be the good standing. So now we have a new member. Now use that to add to the member list. So we add, and new member is pointing to the new member that we just made. Okay, see? Pretty easy. Don't really have to make it too complicated. It's asking you to just use the constructor to make an object and put it in the list. This is going to be very common among many FRQs. Use the constructor to make the object and take that object and put it in the list. Okay, there was I believe there was 3 points for that, and you can probably see use a for loop, use the constructor carefully, and add. Those are your 3 points. Okay, next part B. Part B is to write the method remove members. And now this takes the following actions. It returns a list of all students who have graduated and are in good standing. A member is graduated if the member's graduation year is less than or equal to the member's year parameter. So we're given a parameter here in year. If the member has a year less than that, then we know they graduated. If no members meet these criteria, an empty list is returned. Okay, so that's the first part. Second part is removes from member list all members who have graduated, regardless of whether they're in good standing or not. So it's saying that basically remove all the members who are graduated, but the ones in good standing, put them into a separate list and return that. Okay, so we're given the year. We also got the helper methods from the member info class, get grad year and is in good standing. So we're given those. What we need to do is traverse the member list array, go through the array, filter it by graduation and in good standing status, add the filtered members to a returned list, and remove the graduated members from the member list. The key is removing the members. Now think about it. We can't remove by going, if we remove as we go through the list, we're going to affect the list. So we need to be careful. Don't affect the list, or be very careful when you do. So therefore we need to go backwards. Going backwards through the list will help. We'll be able to remove it, won't affect us too much. So this is our for loop that we're going to use, going backwards. Okay, good. Now, the second part is filter the list by graduation and in good standing status. If you look at it, the in good standing people are a subset of the graduated people, right? Everyone's graduated that we need to be concerned about. We're looking for the people who are graduated, and we're going to remove them all. But before we do, let's put them into the in good standing list. Okay? So there's a big set and a smaller set. Let's deal with the smallest set first, and then remove everybody second. So as we structure this, we're going to use if statements to select for, because if statements are called selection statements, really. They're selecting a subset or a certain thing that's true. So we're selecting certain things that are true. We're going to use the graduation year and in good standing to find these things. Okay? So we're going to use the nested if statements to select. So let's select the graduated first. Let's get all the graduated people first, and then we'll get the in good standing people second. right? So let's do it. So here we go, part B. As we do this, let's remember that it's just really a matter of going through something and we're filtering. We're running through. So we're doing a filter at first. Now, we need to build an empty list to start with to store our members who are in good standing who have already graduated. We need to return that. We need an empty list to start with. So I've made the empty list here. Okay, and empty so far. Now, we're going to run through the members list. So let's do our for loop that we used before, the one that's going backwards. Start at the end of the list. Stop when you get to 0. And minus. I should say stop after 0. So now what we need to do is to select. So let's firstly get the graduated students, graduated members. So let's find the member, right? So we're going through, we're sorting through, we're doing one by one. So let's get the one that's at position I. Let's get the grad year from that member. If it's less than the year given, now we know that that's a graduated member, right? Next one. Now we need to select an even deeper selection. So now we need to get the ones that are in good standing. Okay. So in theory, we're going to end up removing all of these members who have graduated. But before we do that, we need to get the ones in good standing. So I'm going to put the remove part at the end. Right. So after we finished, we can remove the ones at the end here. But that's going to be after. So here's my remove statement here. I'm just going to remove that one once I've done with it. But before, I'm going to check if it's in good standing. So let's see if the member is in good standing. So same thing. Use the member list, use the index, get that one, use the helper method in good standing if that's true. So if that's true, they are in good standing, then we're going to add them to our special list, which I've called removed. And we're going to add that member to that list. So now I end up with a list of removed members there, the ones in good standing. And I need to return that at the end. So my final step would be, after the for loop is done, after I'm finished, I'm going to return that removed list. That's my return value, the member info array list. And that's it. Now this one had, I think, 6 points available. So there were quite a few things to do there. But if you follow the logic through, you can see that all the 6 points were pretty easy to get. And they weren't all necessarily related to each other. You could have got some from here and some from there if you did do part of it right. But yes, that was how you do it. Okay. Thanks very much.